Hare Krishna. Very happy to see so many happy devotees who are all listening so carefully, and nobody is sleepy. It's amazing to see so many devotees, after getting up so early in the morning, so enthusiastic to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And the particular verse we'll read, I want to speak first, and then we'll get to this verse, because this verse is a very important verse. How many of you know this verse already? How many of you have seen this verse even? Yes. Very important, because this comes from the 12th canto of Bhagavatam. And in the 9th canto, the major descriptions are of kings, one after another, in the Surya dynasty, and then after that in the Moon dynasty, in Chandra Vansh. So when Sukadeva Goswami is describing this to Maharaj Parikshit, there is a specific reason why he's describing all these kings, one after the next after the next. Some of them were very powerful and they did wonderful things. Others, just their name is mentioned. Because Sukadeva Goswami is soon to leave this world. He's going to die. At least his body will die. So Sukadeva Goswami, or Maharaj Parikshit, is soon going to leave this world, and Sukadeva Goswami wants to tell him something. Of course, he wants to tell him so many things, and he's already told him so many things. But he wants to tell him that all kings, no matter how great they are, they will have their turn to just vanish into a list of names. Vanish into a list of names. So specifically, Sukadeva is speaking about kings, because kings do wonderful things, but us ordinary, not you, but ordinary people, we don't do such wonderful things, but yet we just vanish also into a succession, one after the next, of names. No matter what we do, just after some time, a list of names. So then, later in the 9th canto, Sukadeva Goswami, in his description of the Chandra Vansh, he comes to the point, after describing so many well-known people who are known from the Mahabharata, but then he describes the birth of Balaram and then the birth of Krishna. And then from this long list of names, Maharaj Parikshit becomes very excited. After hearing just a summary of Krishna's pastimes, Maharaj Parikshit asks, right at the end of Canto 9, please tell me more about Krishna. Because this is what he really wants to hear. And this is what Sukadeva Goswami really wants to give him. He wants to fill his ears, and through his ears to his heart, with thoughts about Krishna. Now very soon, we're going to understand clearly why this is important, but of course we all know this is important. Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajanyante kalemaram. What's the rest of the verse? Tam tam evati. Whatever we are thinking, adhishtayam manastayam vishya upasevade. Whatever we are thinking, whatever fills our consciousness, our mind, when it's time to leave our body, that will determine our next life, our next birth. And this, to hear about Krishna, is so exciting and so enlivening to Maharaj Pariksit, because he's such an exalted devotee. So in the 10th canto, all 90 chapters of the 10th canto, they are just Sukadeva Goswami speaking about Krishna, from his birth onward, chapter by chapter, to one after another. We could just play now and think of all the different... What's your favorite part of the 10th canto? Raise your hand. Okay. Govardhan Leela. Why do you like that? He brings all the Brijbasis in one place. And what do all the Brijbasis do when they're in that one place? Everyone is seeing one person though, but they're seeing differently according to their different bhav. What's another pastime that you think of when you think of Canto 10? Huh? Rasalila. Yes. In the forests of Vrindavan. Yes, thank you. Rasalila, Krishna playing with his friends. What other one? Venu Geet. What other Geetas are sung? Brahma Geet. What other Geetas are sung? Gopi Geet. What other Geetas are sung? That's... What other ones? I couldn't hear. The Jugal Geet and Varaha Geet. Just these are very... Oh, I have to be careful, because recently at the... for preparation for the Govardhan retreat, I've been studying chapters 38, 39, and 40 of the 10th canto, which is when Akrura comes to Vrindavan. And then, if I start talking about that, we'll never even begin to talk about this. Already it's going to be difficult. So anyway, so he speaks about Krishna. Sukadeva speaks about Krishna for the entire 10th canto, all 90 chapters. And then it's time for Krishna, who has accomplished his mission in this world, to leave. And that begins the 11th canto in a wonderful way. And when Uddhav in Dwarka, when he understands, because he's very intelligent, someone who is intelligent can see the future, not by just some mystic, but it's like if you throw a rock or an arrow in the air, if you watch, the English word is trajectory. How do you say that in Hindi? Say it loudly so. Yes. So just by knowing the force and the direction it is aimed in, then you can know where it's going to land. So Uddhava sees inauspicious things in Dwarka, and no inauspiciousness can occur in Krishna's presence. So he knows this is part of Krishna's Leela, and Krishna is going to disappear soon. So he says to Krishna, he walks to Krishna and says, I know what's going to happen, and I cannot tolerate being without you. I cannot tolerate being separate from you. Please take me with you. And then Krishna speaks the Uddhav Gita, which goes until the 29th chapter of the 11th canto, and the 11th canto then ends with Krishna's Mosya Leela, where Krishna departs from this world. And then after the 11th canto ends, you all know that what's next? The 12th canto, of course. And the 12th canto begins where the 9th canto ended. discussing the different dynasties in the Chandravamsa, because Sukadeva Goswami has spoken up to Krishna, and then he's spoken about Krishna. So he goes back to the topic of the Chandravamsa. So he begins in the first chapter speaking about the different kings, and gradually, Kaliyuga, as soon as Krishna leaves, Kaliyuga enters and becomes very powerful. And the kings no longer think of their citizens as praja, to be protected. They are no more than thieves and rogues. It's Kaliyuga, just who have some power. And it even describes in the first chapter the last of the actual Kshatriyas, who are the kings. And then, when the Kshatriyas are gone, who are true Kshatriyas, then Kaliyuga increases more and more and more. So that's described in the first chapter. Then in the second chapter of the 12th canto, then the symptoms of Kaliyuga are described. And and more frightening than reading about what's going to happen in Kaliyuga is looking at the news today, because Kaliyuga is increasing more and more and more and more. Chaos, confusion, degradation. And if you're not sure how things are going, just go to one of the universities. If you think JNU is bad, you should go to the universities in the West. No, you shouldn't go you should stay here and be peaceful. So, Kaliyuga is described in such a terrible way. And then the second chapter ends. And in the third chapter, Sukadeva Goswami speaks about what's called the Bhumi Gita. And in the Bhumi Gita, the earth is lamenting, crying, but laughing at the same time at the leaders of the world who are fighting to control the whole earth. They want to control the whole earth, and no one can do it. And they just end up killing each other, killing everyone else, and they end up just being another name in the long list of names who came to this world and then left. And after the Bhumi Gita is described, then Maharaj Parikshit asks the question. He says, this Kali Yuga is so bad. It is so contaminating. It is so corrupting of the minds, the hearts, the consciousness of everyone. Is there anything that can be done? Is there anywhere to hide from the effects of Kali Yuga? So Sukadeva Goswami begins his answer to that question in the third chapter of the 12th canto by describing more about Satya Yuga. And then after Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and then he describes Kali again. And he puts in such details about Kali Yuga that just in looking over these verses in preparation for this class, it just reminded me so much of what's going on in the world now. Such degradation, increasing degradation. And yet everyone is claiming that we are making progress and things are getting better and better and better, because before we only had iPhone 13 and now we have iPhone 15. And artificial intelligence. But actually, chaos, confusion, upadrutaha, manda samanda mateo manda abhagyo upadrutaha. It is just increasing. Tell me honestly, how many of you notice how Kaliyuga is actually increasing in tendency. Tell me, let's raise your hand if you actually can see it. Don't raise your hand if you don't actually see it. I just want to get an idea. I heard Prabhupada, he often used to quote verses from the 12th canto about Kaliyuga, but I was listening to a conversation was recorded in 1977. He was being picked up from the airport somewhere in a car, and he asked them to put the AC, it was very hot, so he asked them to put the AC up very high. And then he said, yes, these cars are a convenience, but we have to pay so much for them. Not in the sense of paisa, but in the sense of inconvenience. The air is polluted. It takes you 2 hours to get from Gorgaon to the Delhi temple here. There's so much inconvenience is created. So much inconvenience. And the water is polluted, the air is polluted. Now how are we going to live a peaceful life if the air is polluted and the water is polluted? Can't even breathe good air in Kaliyuga. And then the vegetables, progress, we will have GMO modified vegetables. But no one has any idea of the effect of this on the body. Kaliyuga. And the children, you see the children. Because the parents often, I don't think in India yet, but both parents, husband and wife, have to work. And the children not being taken care of properly. And who is taking care of them? The mobile phone. I'm serious. And you see the children at the youngest ages, they just want to put their mind on the mobile phone. And it is so corrupting. It is so addictive. It is so addictive. That means we become under the control of these things. And when you're looking at your mobile phone, who knows what's going to come up? It's so dangerous. So dangerous. So Kaliyuga is so dangerous. So one after the next, after the next, after the next thing, after the next thing, the horrors of Kaliyuga, what happens to the poor men of Kaliyuga, what happens to the poor ladies of Kaliyuga, just exploited, made weak. And then this verse comes as the answer to Sukadeva Goswami's, Maharaj Parikit's question about can anything be done in Kali Yuga that can protect one, that can purify one? Is there any shelter in Kali Yuga? It is difficult, I know. Is there any shelter in Kali Yuga? And then this verse comes. So, pum sam kali kritam dorshan dravya deshatma sambhavan. So, a person seeing Kali Yuga's faults, and really we should see Kali Yuga's faults because we become trapped by the conveniences of Kali Yuga. But with every one convenience comes 10, 20, 100 dosh faults. So a person who sees Kali Kritan dosham, and these faults, and this is so heavy, dravya, deshatma, sambhavan, these faults contaminate. Dravya means everything. Everything in Kali Yuga is contaminated. And deshatma, desha, every place in Kali Yuga is contaminated. Atma, every person in Kali Yuga is contaminated. So every place, everything, every person. So where can one go to find shelter from this great storm of Kaliyuga? And the next two lines explain, Sarvam harati chitto sto, that all these faults, all these problems, all these inconveniences, all this dosh, all this contamination, sarvam, all, harati, killed, the consciousness purified by one chitto sto, who puts in their heart Bhagavan Purushottama, the Supreme Lord Krishna. He is Purushottama, he is Lila Purushottama. Okay, so everyone repeat after me. Pumsam kale kritam doshan Dravya deshatma sambhavan Savan harati chittasto Bhagavan Purushottama. In the Kaliyuga, objects, dravya, places, desha, atma, even individual personalities are all polluted. What word is the word for pollution, the Sanskrit word? Dosha, yeah. Everything's polluted. But the almighty personality of Godhead, Bhagavan Purushottama, however, can remove all such contamination from the life of one who fixes the Lord within his heart. So this is the great challenge for us all, at least for me. Prabhupada, once I had the fortune of sitting next to Prabhupada on a plane going from Hong Kong to Tokyo. And someone had given me very good advice before I got on the plane. And he said, when you're with Prabhupada, just keep chanting. Just keep chanting, keep chanting, keep chanting, keep chanting. So I sat next to Prabhupada, and I was chanting, and I was chanting, and I was chanting. I chanted every Bhagavad Gita verse I knew. I chanted every song I knew. I chanted until the person in the seat in front of me turned around and said, "Stop that chanting!" So I looked at Prabhupada, he just smiled, and so I chanted more softly. But then, when we were leaving the plane, he said, "You have this very good habit of always chanting." But I didn't have that very good habit of always chanting. But someone had told me that when you're with Prabhupada, you get that habit very quickly. So that always remained. And then he turned to his servant and said, "You should also get this habit." So you're all servants of Prabhupada and Prabhupada's servants. So you should also get this habit of constantly chanting, fixing the Lord in the heart. Because if Krishna isn't fixed in the heart, what's going to happen in the heart, in the consciousness? Just Maya will find something. The mind will cause well, I have experience of that. The mind will think so many things influenced by Kaliyuga. So here is our goal. We want to always keep the holy names, keep Krishna in the heart. And Prabhupada has given us a whole movement where we can preach and in this way use everything in Krishna's service. Previously, the sadhus were just tyagis, basically. Not just tyagis, but they didn't live in the world because they didn't want to be contaminated by the world. But here, yukta sambandha, Using everything can be used in Krishna's service. So we don't have to renounce anything, nirbandha, Krishna sambandha, but we should use every place, every item, and every person should somehow or another be used in Krishna's service. But the main point here is that it should be used in Krishna's service. Krishna's service. That means Krishna has to become foremost in our heart. And in Kaliyuga, we become expert in putting me in the heart foremost. Not me, real me, but ahankar, false ego, abhiman. I want to be in center. And then using Krishna in my service. So this is very tricky business. Although utility is the principle, but still purity is the force. And for that, we need books as the basis. So listen to what the books are now going to say. If a person hears about, I'm so sorry that I can't speak Hindi because it would make it easier, but Krishna has not blessed me with any ability like that in this life. But listen very carefully, try your best. If a person hears about, glorifies, meditates upon, worships, or simply offers great respect to the Supreme Lord, who is situated within the heart, the Lord will remove from his mind the contamination accumulated during many thousands of lifetimes. So this is the service that the devotees have been given to somehow help people. Just look. People are putting Krishna in the center of their consciousness, at least for a few moments. And just by doing that, the contaminations accumulated during many thousands of lifetimes, sarvam harati chitosto. And then Sukadev gives an example. Just as fire applied to gold removes any discoloration caused by traces of other metals, even though there may be some small amount of maya contamination, selfishness in the heart, by this process of keeping Krishna always in the heart, it will purify the minds of the yogis because they become bhakti yogis. So, and then he gives an example on the other side, different ways of worshipping. By one's engaging in the process of worshipping demigods, austerities, pranayam, compassion, bathing in holy places, strict vows, charity, chanting of various mantras, one's mind cannot attain the same absolute purification as that achieved when the ultimate, unlimited Supreme Personality of Godhead appears within one's heart. Therefore, now here he's reaching a conclusion. Therefore, so please, if you've been resting up until this point, or if your mind has been wandering, no problem, because then you should be well rested so you could hear this. Therefore, O King, because he's going to die within 3 or 4 days or 2 days, therefore, endeavor, stan, endeavor with all your might, with all your sincerity, to fix the Supreme Lord Keshava within your heart. So it takes a great endeavor, it takes seriousness, and it takes focus. It takes so much sincerity. And maintain this concentration upon the Lord, and at the time of death, you will certainly attain the supreme destination. My dear King, certainly you will attain the supreme destination. What is that supreme destination? Or what destination do you want? What do you want? What do you think you didn't have in this life that you want? Huh? No, But anyway, there's a supreme destination. So please, we want to fix that supreme destination very strongly in our consciousness, very strongly. My dear King, he continues, the personality of Godhead is the ultimate controller. So you try your best. You won't be able to succeed on your own. No one has that power. But Krishna is the ultimate controller. He is the supreme soul and the supreme shelter of all beings. And listen to this. Atma bhavam nayat yanga savapma sava samsaya. Please listen to this. When meditated upon by those who are about to die, he reveals to them their own eternal spiritual identity. Because sometimes we wonder, how will I actually know my Atma Bhava? Do I have to have it bestowed upon me or something? But here, Sukadeva says that by thinking of the Lord, he will bestow your Siddha Deha on you. Atma Bhava, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, Atma Bhava is your actual spiritual identity, your eternal spiritual identity. He will bestow it upon you. But then there's more. 2 more verses in this chapter. Because the question is, and here's where we really come to the holy names. The question is, how can I gain the sincerity, the purity, the focus, the taste to always keep the Lord in the heart? And here, he says, Sukadeva says, these 2 verses, Kalaya doshinadhe rajan, everyone? Asti eko mahaguna kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param brajit. My dear King, although Kaliyuga is an ocean of faults, it's not a small puddle, but it's an ocean of faults. No one can cross the ocean by his own power. There is still one asti eko mahaguna. There's one good quality about Kaliyuga. In the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam, it explains that the devatas, they prefer the birth in Kaliyuga because on Swagaloka, life is so much fun. You don't have to think about it. You just enjoy yourself until death. But in Kali Yuga, it is so difficult, and the mind is always so disturbed. And Srila Jiva Goswami comments on this point too, that the Mahamantra was equally powerful in other yugas, but people are so much in anxiety in Kali Yuga. People's anxiety is so great that they'll hold on to something so simple as chanting very tightly because of the faults of Kali Yuga, the anxiety that Kali Yuga produces. So whenever we are in anxiety, raise your hand if sometimes you get in anxiety. You raise 2 hands. This is the blessing of Kali Yuga. Because it's Krishna, it's Sukadeva Goswami saying, you should take shelter of the holy names. You call out to Krishna. Call out to Krishna for shelter. Call out to Krishna for shelter. Anxiety, frustration, the mind not acting properly, showing its contaminations, the lust, the anger, the greed. This is Krishna's, the mercy of Kali Yuga, telling us, you please have a shelter and take that shelter in Krishna's holy names. And then final verse, Krite Jad Jayato Vishnu, that which was obtained through meditation in Satyuga. Tretayan Yajato Makai, that which was obtained by performing sacrifices in Treta Yuga. And then Dwapare Paricharyayam, that which was obtained by performing opulent temple worship in Dwapara Yuga. Kalo Tadhari Kirtanat. Just by chanting Krishna's holy names in kirtan, the same results can be obtained, despite the faults of Kaliyuga. Whatever result was obtained in Satyuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapara Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. But unfortunate as I am, I have no attraction. What to do? Stay in the association of devotees? Stay in association of devotees who are more sincere than you. And if you can't find anyone more sincere than you, it's a problem. There's that pastime with Duryodhana and Yudhisthira Maharaj. When Dronacharya asked Duryodhana to find someone, he sent him out and asked him to find someone less qualified than him. Less qualified, was it? No, more qualified. He asked Duryodhana to find someone more qualified than him, better than him. And he asked Yudhisthira Maharaj to find someone worse than him. So after some time, Duryodhana, of course, came back. I couldn't find anyone better than me. And Yudhisthira came back. I couldn't find anyone worse than me. So there's always such good opportunity for association amongst the devotees. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. You're also fortunate. You're also sincere. Please hear Srimad Bhagavatam and gain and associate with devotees and keep serving and chanting. Try to focus your mind. Keep in mind the purpose of what you're doing. In Kali Yuga, nothing is easy. But yet, this is the greatest fortune. So, are there any questions or comments? Thank you. Yes, Prabhu. And what is your good name? Oh, expert harmonium player. That's amazing. How do you do that?
By blessings.
How do you do that?
By your blessings and...
I couldn't hear.
By blessings only.
You have a gift?
Yes. I was...
but wait. If you have a gift, don't be shy. But know it is a gift. It is a gift that others don't have. Everyone has their own gifts. So this is a gift. Don't be proud, don't be shy, but use it wonderfully in Krishna's service. It's a wonderful gift.
Thank you so much for the wonderful lecture, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as you told your experience with Srila Prabhupada, that Srila Prabhupada was very happy when you chanted always. So how can we apply it to our lives? Like, can you give some advices?
Yes, always chant. Keep it in your mind that this is what I should be doing. When my mind is driving me crazy, 1 minute saying that I'm the worst person in the world, and the next minute saying I'm the best person in the world, criticizing everyone else, and glorifying, just goes back and forth, crazy. So the only ways to become so sincere that we really want Krishna's shelter and mercy. That's one point. So I don't think we can do this like mechanically. So many times I said, from now on, I'm always going to chant and never let my mind wander. It just doesn't work. So therefore, we try our best. Very good sadhana, very much helps. Really focus on chanting good rounds in the association of devotees. Pray to their lordships, Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, for some mercy. And use everything, dravya deshatma sambhava, use everything in Krishna's service. That's nirbandha, Krishna sambandha, yukta vairagya. Everything can be used. And the mission is so great. In the Philippines, Prabhupada once told myself and Jagatrini Mataji, my wife, that it is my desire to make everyone in the universe, not in the world, not in Delhi, but the universe, Krishna conscious. You please help me with that desire. So I think there's enough service for everyone. That's the point. And because everyone has certain things that no one else can do. We saw Mohan Rupa Prabhu sent around a little message saying, from Prabhupada, saying that that even preaching to one person in a day is successful. But that doesn't mean everyone should say that I'm only going to preach to one person. But it means that if that's what you can do, then do it. Whatever Krishna has given you, use it in His service. Practically speaking, that's the best we can do. But there's no magic except staying in the association of devotees, feeling oneself very incapable, begging. Is that okay? Hare Krishna.
Harish, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So wonderfully glorifying.
The straight Bhagavatam.
Prabhuji, in the lecture you were pointing out that Parikshit Maharaj was about to die. And then this instruction was spoken. So please endeavor and then try to remember Krishna and chant the holy name. So in our case, in my case, that how to bring that emergency mode, like because I may also leave the body at any time, but I feel that no, I'm comfortable. There are many years to come. So
just be patient. That feeling of comfort will leave you. What to do? How you want to always think, oh, I may die today, I may die today, I may die today. You can't do that either. Instead of thinking, I may die today, I may die today, think Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. But there's two ways. One, that pushes us. But there's a pull on the other side. The pull is becoming attracted to beautiful Krishna, to the sweetness of Sri Vrindavan Dham, to the sweetness of the dealings between Krishna and the Brijbasis. So that pull is more powerful even than the push. But the pushes may come. At some time, they will come. So we don't want them to come, and no one wants them to come for anyone else. But yet, they will come. So in that sense, we should be patient. But on the other side, the pulling, we shouldn't be patient. Tatraloyamapi mula mekalam. We read the Bhagavatam from beginning to end. We read Bhagavad Gita, we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and try to pray to Radhapartasarti and Sisi Gonitai and for some mercy so you can gain some attraction. And one of the amazing things about bhakti is no matter how much attraction you have, in the prema gandha, Mahaprabhu says, you feel like it's not, I don't have anything. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanak Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
So, I have been suggested by Prabhuji to watch your seminars, Prabhuji. I was watching it lately, and you were talking about, Prabhuji, steadiness in chanting. So, Prabhuji, outside environments, it affects a lot.
So much.
It so much that
But more than the outside environment, the inside environment affects even more.
yes, yes, Prabhuji. So that part of steadiness, it is like negligible. So it is very difficult to like become steady.
Okay. So your question is, how can we become steady? Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to ask a question. We all know it's difficult to control the mind. We all know that Kaliyuga makes the mind upadrutaha, disturbed. So what works best for you? This is a question. What works best for you that helps your chanting of japa? Of course, kirtan is easy, more easy. So that's one answer right there. Kirtan. But what helps you make your mind focused on the holy names while you're chanting? You personally. Now that was a question. Yes, thank you. What's your name again, Prabhu? Thank you.
Chanting in a prayerful mood.
Would you like to speak a little more about that? Chanting in a prayerful mood.
We should always pray to Lord Krishna. Oh my Lord, oh Sri Sri Radha Parsarthi, without your mercy, no one can chant your holy name attentively. So I need your mercy. So please bestow your mercy upon me so that I can chant the holy name attentively. And as there is no difference between you and your holy name, so I am so fallen that I am not giving attention to the holy name. So please bestow your mercy. Like that, if we chant in a prayerful mood, then definitely our mind get attracted to the holy name.
Thank you so much. Such good advice. Anyone else like to say? Yes. So the question is, what helps you? Because what helps one of us, if we talk about it, can help so many others.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
But
So,
I have. It's
in
hard
my
for me.
practice, I will try to listen single words of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That will help me in focusing on japa. Try to listen each word of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
And what do you do when your mind gets distracted?
Keep chanting. Don't disturb what is happening in mind. Just keep chanting, and after some time it will vanish from the mind. But try to focus on each word.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
I wrote a book on japa that spoke about that too, and that's what helps me. Just go back, and also to chant a little louder than my mind is talking. But thank you, listening to the words. Yes.
I generally apply the key which you said in Japa book. Take a sankalp. Take a vow that I will listen and then be detached. So these two things really help me a lot in focusing on the holy name. And the more we focus, gradually the disturbance of the mind goes down, and then it is more of positiveness. It is not that what mind is doing, because I have something positive to do. Taking a sankalp, and it is more of endeavor than getting disappointed what mind does. So in this actually it really helps to go deeper into the holy.
Sankalpa, be determined. Yes. And then any other Matajis like to say after? Prabhu, you go first.
So in that seminar itself, you told about chanting with gratitude. So I usually think about the devotees who brought me in this moment. So I am in debt to them. So who would I be if they would have not been there in my life? So I think of those devotees, their efforts, and I try to like please them somehow by good chanting. So it helps, but I'm very fallen for it. So it somehow helps.
So you need extra help, it sounds like.
Lot of
So when you need extra help, what do you do? When you understand you need extra help?
that same process of hearing each mantra. Yes.
Any Matajis like to say? What do you do that helps your chanting? When your mind is wandering, what helps?
Hare Krishna. One time I had asked this question from one of the Prabhupada disciple, Mataji, who's
Yes.
a close friend of mine, what to do. And she gave me a great advice. She said, pray to Prabhupada and tell him to control your mind at least for 2 hours, which I try to do because I don't know how to ask Krishna, but I can ask Prabhupada very easily.
So very good instruction, pray to Prabhupada. But there's another good instruction in there. Ask someone else, just like I asked you. If you see someone chanting nicely, you ask them if they would kindly, because some of these things are a little secret, so they don't want to say, and everyone will be shy. But just privately, we can ask them, please let me know one of your secrets, because I need so much help. Okay, please go take prasadam. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Radha Bhakti Sarati. Sri Gonatai. Sri Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Nanda Sringadev ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol.